Back on the Twin Cities Film Fest red carpet, I'm Blythe Whaley and joined by some more filmmakers here on Rule by Choice. This is Corey Heppola standing right next to me, and you did a fantabulous job with this production. And I want to credit you on just the tone that you used. I talked about it in our last interview, but it honestly came across so genuine, and I loved it. But can you tell us a little bit about it?
Really kind of. I mean, I think we came in with an authentic message, right? Authentic message to explore what is rural living, and really we couldn't do it without our team here. I mean, phenomenal team, and I think a lot of people think, oh man, they see the production, they see the end point, and they say, wow, I mean, how many people? Yeah. We had 4 people working on it, right? Yeah. Like we had Micah and Jenna Kavit, and then the talented Eric Osberg here and myself, and like for this thing to come together with just the resources that we had, we have been just humbled and honored too, the way that it's affected people. So Eric, yeah, please jump in.
Yeah, what, Eric, did you love about this film, and how it, what made you want to join in and help out with it?
Well, I think what I loved about the film most is where we ended up. We didn't really know where we were starting. We just started filming stuff and started telling stories, and we didn't know how the pieces of the puzzle were going to come together. Our original intent was one big, long piece. And so it became apparent through the film. There was so much good stuff, right? You can't leave all that good stuff on the cutting room floor. So kudos to Corey and Jenna and Micah, because they did a fantabulous job kind of switching MO in the middle of I mean, we were done. We were in post. We were trying to put it together. And we were able to find her. And again, kudos to Corey for finding his, you mentioned his authenticity. I would add his vulnerability, right? Like he opened himself up in a way that I didn't anticipate. And so, not every idea we tried worked, but there was so many good ideas that it all just kind of came together at the end. Again, with the puzzle analogy, and I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out.
He said apparent. It became apparent that it needed to be a docuseries. Let me tell you, I had the documentary written. It was all done. It was written. But then he came to me, and Micah and Jenna, too, came and said, hey, all right, okay, this works. We feel like it can work better. So we started challenging each other to look at it a little bit differently, and they were right. I mean, it came together much nicer than I think we had all anticipated. And the end result is this 7-part docuseries that is just really, we've been just floored by the positive response that we've gotten from all over the state, and also other people from other states too. It's been really cool.
And how amazing was it, Corey, getting to work with your family and your parents and to have this all captured on film?
Yeah, my mom and dad, they love being on camera. They're like, what else can we help? Can we get... No, they're always like, God, you want me to do this again? Come on, do I have to do... So, no, they were great sports, but I think that goes again to the authenticity, too, is that I have such a great relationship with my family, my parents, my sister, aunts and uncles, and everybody who's been so supportive. They're here now. But that is the story, right? That's where we are from, and that's where even myself still considers home. And so telling that story, and there's so many stories like that, and I think that's what people are connecting with, is that it doesn't matter where you're from. You can make a positive difference in your community and in your state, even if you choose to live a rural life.
And when you were going through this process, I know it sounds like it went so seamless and so well, but there were some challenges, I'm sure. What was maybe something that was most difficult for you?
I think working probably in different spaces, in different cities, in different parts of the state. So keeping that communication line open and constantly communicating in an era of COVID. I mean, that's where we were at. And then plus two, Eric and he's living in Otter Tail County, and then Micah and Jenna too. They're in a different spot in Otter Tail County. I'm here in the cities. So to me, Eric, that was probably the most challenging was just being in 3 different spots at all times. And we produced this whole thing without ever being in the same room together.
It was, logistics were challenging, right? Like we would have our days on site where we would get together and film and do whatever. And again, we didn't really know what we were trying. I mean, we knew what we wanted to capture the essence of, but it wasn't a script, right? Like we just showed up. And I think that you mentioned authenticity. It's not produced. I mean, it's produced on the back end, but it wasn't produced up front. We just went in and tried to document all the good things that are happening. But he's right. Logistically, it was a challenge. I mean, it was remote work. We would hop on phone calls. We would hop on Zooms. We would hop on whatever. And so sometimes I had the pleasure of going to Corey and Jenna's studio so I could be an extra set of eyes and ears in the room, and we'd get Corey on the phone. But again, just the professionalism that those two and Corey showed throughout the whole project. I mean, it's because of their professionalism that we ended up where we did.
And I know you mentioned earlier about Corey's vulnerability. Corey, what was that like to share that story and to get that out? Were you expecting to be as vulnerable as you were in this?
Well, I appreciate the question because I think that was something that I think personally, and I think a lot of people struggle with this too, is that especially in today's age with social media, we like to put out a filtered version of our lives. And so other people see that version and they think, oh, they have it perfect. And then we internally look at ourselves and we think, okay, I think one thing that I've really tried to focus in on the last few years as a person too is like, it's okay to be transparent. It's okay to be open. It's okay to share things that may not be quote unquote perfect. And I think opening myself up to be, like, look, you know what? I didn't do these things growing up. Yeah, at a younger age, I was very insecure about those things. But now being more of an adult to go back and experience fishing and farming and looking at it a little bit differently, I think that I hope that people, and it feels like people are, but they're gathering that same mentality of it's okay. Like, and I know with Twin Cities Film Fest, one of the main focus is on mental health. And I hope that people are able to explore that space while watching this as well, where they see and they understand and go, it's okay to not be okay. But as long as we are open and we're there for each other, and it's, we find the people and we surround ourselves with people who love us and through empathy, understanding one another, I think that's where people are finding that unity through this 7-part docuseries.
Well, your background with WCCO Radio, and now you're taking WCCO Radio, Twin Cities Film Fest, the film community. Which one are you picking? Just kidding.
Yeah, no, I will say film is. I've always been a film person, and I think the art of storytelling through film, and I think. I was at a young age. I saw a number of different movies that really pulled me out of this community that I was in, right? My experience was this, and I feel film showed me a different world than I had experienced growing up, and I think that's so important. I think that's the power of film for me, and that's why it's just an honor to be here and to be a part of Twin Cities Film Fest, is because we are storytellers, and to get this kind of exposure for this story, people across the state, people across the globe are now able to look at this and then in turn look at their own lives and say, you know what did I miss? Or maybe that's something I hadn't experienced. And maybe if I try to understand and listen and empathize, then we can come together.
Well, wonderful job with your film, guys. I've enjoyed talking with you here on the red carpet, but Rule by Choice, you guys, definitely this is a film you need to see. Blythe Whaley with the Twin Cities Film Fest. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will be back shortly.